Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next blockchain and mining webinar. Today with us, we have Nirali Shah, who is joining us from London. And Nirali will be talking to us about Responsible Gold Initiative. Nirali, please go ahead, introduce yourself, and we're looking forward to your presentation.
Great, thanks, Tanya, and really appreciate the invitation to present Responsible Gold, our solution and product, to this forum. So just by way of quick introduction, as Tanya said, I'm Nirali Shah. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Responsible Gold. I've been with the company for around sort of 2 and something years now, but prior to that I had an 18-year career in consulting, in which time I've worked with multiple miners and refiners in the sector on responsible sourcing, responsible mining programs. Responsible Gold Supply Chain Company is part of the Dion Capital Group, which basically has investments in various companies that use tech-based solutions to enhance financial and compliance products in commodity value chains. Our sister company, Emergent Technology, incubates our blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning, tokenization products. We are US headquartered, but have affiliations in Dubai, Asia, UK, Switzerland, Ghana, Brazil, and Peru as well. So to frame the presentation, and to be honest, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because, you know, I'm sure this audience is well aware of the challenges in the gold sector. But, you know, termed a conflict mineral, gold with its intrinsic value is susceptible to frauds, to money laundering, to financing of conflicts, and so forth. And, you know, whilst we have multiple standards and due diligence tools already, and these are actually being enhanced, to provide assurances of good practices and supply chains, these kind of ongoing media and NGO reports, as you can see, show that these challenges still persist today. You know, there's limited visibility over the gold supply chains and where gold is coming from. So really, to address these challenges in the gold and actually broader precious metal sector, we've developed an end-to-end blockchain-based ecosystem that brings more transparency, traceability, and accountability to the sector. Our solution comprises of 3 key proprietary features. The first is Responsible Gold, where physical gold is digitized and then tracked on the blockchain with the Responsible Gold supply chain application, as it moves from the mine to the refinery to the vault and then onwards to the market. And here supply chain partners, which are onboarded onto the Responsible Gold ecosystem, conform to industry best practice ESG standards. The second is Gold ID, which is an artificial intelligence powered image recognition technology that creates and enrolls unique gold bar identities onto the blockchain, and subsequently verifies bars against these blockchain records to reduce the risk of duplicate or fraudulent bars entering the ecosystem. And then finally, we have Gcoin, which tokenizes responsible gold kilobars into digital gold tokens, which can be used to save, send, or spend gold. Gcoin essentially brings responsible gold into the digital age. One commentator on our LinkedIn page put it quite nicely yesterday and said, you know, if gold is going to continue as an investment asset, it needs a digital and ESG component. The next generation of investors will support nothing less. And, you know, I think that really sums up what we've set out to do here. Responsible gold, by definition then, is 99.99% pure, conflict-free and responsibly sourced gold with blockchain-based proof of provenance and chain of custody transparency. The Responsible Gold ecosystem combines the tracking technology, strict KYC processes and due diligence processes, and industry-leading ESG standards for participants to produce responsible gold. And this combination of our standards as well as the technology, we believe, provides this unprecedented visibility and an ESG uplift, which allows responsible gold to meet demands from jewelers and luxury brands with responsible sourcing mandates. At the beginning of 2020, we sold quite a large part of our inventory to Bulgari for use in their watches. And we've been in constant discussion with a number of large jewelry wholesalers in Asia, Americas, and Europe who are very interested in implementing these kind of solutions to enhance their enhance the traceability of their products. Unfortunately, demand from the jewelry sector has been down during the pandemic. However, the scrutiny on supply chain practices is only increasing, and as this sector recovers, we fully expect the demand in responsible gold to recover as well. But in the meantime, there is a lot of interest from wealth management and the investor sector to capitalize on the surge in demand for ESG investments. But not only are supply chain partners able to capitalize on the demand for new ESG products with responsible gold, there's also benefits such as gaining better access to mainstream refiners by proving provenance and secure custody transfers, which then reduces the refiner's compliance costs. There's better access, or miners can get better access to capital from the ESG uplift, resulting from better risk management coupled with the value add of new products. And a number of multiple miners and refiners have already tracked gold on the responsible gold supply chain application in a bid to protect their reputation and industry integrity, which has been repeatedly damaged by instances of illicit gold. The technology, essentially removes the need for vast paper trails and, provides a much more efficient and cost-effective way to connect supply chain partners with a secure solution that leaves little room for tampering or data integrity issues. And over the years, we have received recognition from leading authorities. So following an audit in 2018, Amani Advisors, which is a leading Sharia advisory firm, attested that responsible gold and Gcoin technology exceeds Sharia principles on transparency, traceability, and ethical trading. In 2019, the International Telecommunications Union, which is a UN specialized agency in ICT technologies, recognized responsible gold as a positive contributor to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals in its technical report on distributed ledger use cases for sustainable development. And then late last year, Gcoin was awarded the Ethical Investment Innovation of the Year award from the International Investor magazine. So just to get into the detail of the technology now, the responsible gold supply chain application is a fully automated gold custody tracking solution that uses IoT technology such as crypto seals to digitize the physical asset at the mine and then track the custody transfers then on using a mobile application. The cryptographic technology means that there's zero possibility of duplication or manipulation of data, and easily verifiable physical properties of the doré, such as assays, weights, serial numbers, are captured at the mine and used to create a digital twin of the physical asset. And then mobile applications on an Android phone are used to scan the crypto seal at every custody transfer, and this transaction is then hashed onto the blockchain in real time. So, for the custody transfers, there's no retroactive data upload. We're not digitizing documents. We're actually digitizing the physical asset. And the recording onto the blockchain is automated and it happens in real time. So this really leaves very little room, or no room actually, for tampering of the physical or the digital records along the supply chain. And the solution is ultra safe. Of course, records on a blockchain or distributed ledger cannot be altered and so are immutable. I mean, this is a blockchain's basic. But because of the real-time, fully automated recording of the transaction, and both parties agreeing to the transaction, so the party that's initiating the transfer of custody and the other party that's accepting the transfer of custody, both agree to the transaction in real time, the records on our blockchain, we say, are also irrefutable. Just walking through step by step then. So here we have at the mine creates an asset card for each Dore bar by inputting the physical characteristics into the application to digitize the bar. And a crypto belt is put on the Dore package, as you can see circled in red here. The miner then initiates custody transfer by scanning this crypto seal and indicating custody transfer. The logistics provider, who is the next in chain, will then use their own mobile application to scan the crypto seal and accept the transfer. And this is recorded, this transaction is then recorded onto the blockchain in real time. Of course, if the crypto seal has been tampered with, so if the box has been tampered with or opened or what have you, the crypto seal is rendered unreadable and the custody transfer can then not be recorded on the blockchain. So same thing at the refinery with the custody transfer from the logistics to refinery. The refinery will accept the digital custody transfer by scanning the crypto seal with their mobile application. And then we will integrate the refiner's ERP systems into the blockchain to follow the asset transformation as it goes through the refinery. And in this way, the final bullion product retains the provenance records. As you can see, we also have a web-based asset management system to see incoming transfers or outgoing transfers, monitor the assets in your custody. This provides reports, it allows documents to be uploaded, and also provides access to the custody hashes, the unique identity numbers, and the asset cards that are stored on the blockchain. So it could be effectively used as a inventory management system. And then finally at the vault, to transfer the custody. At the moment, what we're doing is we're producing kilobars. So these are either cased in individual kilobar cases, and then a crypto seal is put around it, as you can see in the picture. And again, the same process is used to scan the crypto seal and transfer custody from refiner to vault. But this process will be replaced with Gold ID, which I'll talk about in a minute, once this comes into play. And this is especially relevant for large bars, as you can't really case large bars and or stick anything on London good delivery bars. Here's a short video of one of our early runs from a mine in South America to a refinery in Switzerland, just to give you a Okay, and then so essentially buyers and supply chain actors have access to the full provenance and custody history of the gold bar and the blockchain records produce a provenance map like the one you see on your screen here. We also have a digital responsible gold certificate that accompanies each bar custody or ownership transfer, and this will detail the bar type, so kilo bar, large bar, the serial number, 49's gold, the date of production and registration to the blockchain, as well as information on the provenance, the ESG information, transfer documents, and the gold asset card number, which can then be used to view all of the timestamps throughout the process, as you can see on your screen. The Responsible Gold blockchain is a permissioned blockchain, and so we've outlined responsible gold standards which supply chain partners are required to meet at the onboarding stage and then throughout their participation on the blockchain. So the standards are quite broad and govern the use of the technology, the use of the responsible gold logos, and so forth. But they also outline the ESG requirements for our partners to protect the ecosystem from money laundering, conflict financing, human rights violations, and adverse labor, community, and environmental impacts as well. And this is something that we conscientiously set out to do from the very beginning, as we recognize that ESG credentials are just as important as the origin in provenance tracking. So adherence to ESG requirements is managed through a combination of on-chain as well as off-chain controls. So for example, ESG criteria are included in our own counterparty due diligence and KYC requirements. So the media screening checks that we do, the information that we collect from partners when they are onboarded, and then at regular intervals from then on. We also have audit nodes which look at volumes and assays as the doré passes through the system, and red flag any sort of unexpected spikes or differences in assays and so forth. What we are looking to do as well is to integrate scientific geoforensic analysis into the blockchain, which through machine learning will enable identification of the source of gold to a specific mine pit, protecting against any sort of unknown or known commingling of illicit sources at the mine level before the doré is packaged. And then thirdly, we require our miners and refining partners to provide independent assurance reports on their conformance with widely recognized industry standards. So at the moment, all of the miners that we work with to date conform with the World Gold Council standards. All of the refiners are LBMA good delivery refiners who meet the responsible gold guidance. Where supply chain partners have not yet adopted any of these sort of ESG industry standards, we have created our own ESG toolkit to set out the requirements and support partners in meeting these requirements. So the ESG toolkit basically includes ESG risk and control cards, a compliance monitoring tool, and document blueprints. And I'll go into a bit more detail on each of these. But to be very clear, what we did not set out to do is to create yet another ESG standard for miners and refiners to comply with. And from my time in consulting, miners are inundated with audits and compliance requirements, not just from a regulatory perspective, but also from refiners and downstream partners who each have their own requirements. What we did do is create a practical toolkit that consolidates best practices from several existing standards, like the World Gold Council, the International Council on Mining and Metals, the Canadian Mining Standards, Responsible Jewelry Council, OECD, IFC, and also management systems like ISO 14001 environmental management, occupational health and safety management systems, and so forth. So through this consolidation process, we documented best practice ESG controls specific to gold miners refiners, logistics providers, and vault operators as a sort of 4 key actors in the gold supply chain. And as requirements for ESG continue to increase, with industry bodies enhancing their standards and their requirements, the EU conflict regulations coming into play, and so forth, gold supply chain actors can use this tool or this toolkit to meet these demands, but also to streamline compliance. So the ESG toolkit covers a very broad range of ESG requirements, and include considerations for conflict gold, workers and visitors, health and safety, air, land, water emissions, waste management, and some of these things are very specific to the gold sector. So issues like mercury management, the health impacts of mercury, cyanide usage, acid mine drainage, and so forth. And there's also considerations around social, labor, and ethics. But like I said, we wanted to make this practical. So we mimicked a Sarbanes-Oxley type exercise for ESG and produced these risk and control cards, which outline very specific ESG risks in relation to the topics that I presented on the previous page. The applicable controls for each risk broken down into further sub-controls. We've also provided examples of evidence which may be submitted to regulators or auditors to demonstrate implementation of the controls. There's over 180 of these risk and control cards for the 4 key actors that I mentioned before. But to streamline the audit and compliance process, we also created a standards cross-recognition tool, if you like. This basically encapsulates all of the details of the risk and control cards and then tags each. Let me just play this through, actually, it'll make more sense. So like I was saying, this encapsulates all of the details of the risk and control cards, and then each of the sub-controls within the risk and control cards is tagged to the requirements of 12 existing standards. So on a profile page, the participant will enter their details, what ESG topic they want to specifically look at, or all of the topics, where in the supply chain they sit. So are they a miner, a refiner, logistics provider, vault operator, and which of the 12 industry schemes they already conform to, if any. So, for example, as a miner, you can select that you conform to the RGSC standards or the World Gold Council standards, and ISO 14001. And the tool will then eliminate the requirements pertaining to these standards and leave you with the remaining controls to focus your efforts. So, the idea is that supply chain actors can use this to manage their own direct risks, or downstream actors can use it to carry out due diligence on their upstream partners. And then finally, we have this document reference guide, which provides blueprints for policies, due diligence, and risk assessment reports. So again, all of this has been developed to support the ESG journeys that the partners on our blockchain will go through. And as a practical example of how we are using this, we've partnered with a mine finance company, which provides capital and operational solutions to junior miners and late stage developers. And the idea is to support the portfolio companies in implementing the responsible gold standards and the responsible gold supply chain application to enhance their ESG risk management and potentially tap into the premiums that could be generated through responsible gold as a product. And this partnership is backed by funds from BlackRock and other ESG investors. So you can see that, this is now mainstreaming. On Gold ID, so this is our proprietary bar security feature to protect the responsible gold ecosystem against fraudulent bars entering the ecosystem. This is currently in beta and is being tested at partner refineries. It uses artificial intelligence to recognize surface patterns on bars, including melt marks, serial numbers, logos, and other hallmarks. So images of the bar are captured with a mobile phone, which again, provides a low cost and practical solution. And the artificial intelligence creates unique bar identities for each bar, which are then stored on the blockchain in perpetuity. So bars which have previously exited the ecosystem and are now coming back into the, to the refineries or the vaults, don't need to be remelted. They can be verified as responsible gold bars by matching the images to the bar identities on the blockchain. And this can be used in conjunction with other security features, like specific hallmarkings that different refiners are putting on their bars to distinguish their bars from other refiners. And like I said before, essentially we expect this solution to replace the CryptoSeal solution on the kilobars from the refinery to the vault. And so I'll just go show you a quick video on how Gold ID can be used. And then finally, a very brief introduction to Gcoin. So responsible gold bars, which are not sold into the physical market, can be, well, they'll be stored in a vault and can be minted into digital Gcoin tokens. So we take the asset card that represents the kilobar and basically tokenize that or fractionize that. So one Gcoin token is the title to 1 gram of a responsible gold kilobar. And these tokens, so Gcoins, can be redeemed for the physical at any time. And Gcoin basically brings gold into the digital age, making gold appealing to investors, especially next generation of investors who may be looking at Bitcoin or other digital assets as alternative investments and hedging tools. Except without the volatility, as Gcoin maintains the one-to-one link with gold. You may have seen yesterday or the day before that Elon Musk basically announced that Bitcoin will no longer be accepted as payment for Tesla. And this has resulted in Dogecoin, Ether, Bitcoin value just plummeting. So the expectation is that Gcoin, because it's a title to it's a digital title to physical gold, it will always maintain the value of the intrinsic gold. So it can be used as a savings mechanism without the burden of the storage costs and so forth, but also Gcoin increases the utility of gold. So it's no longer just a savings tool, but also a medium of exchange. So Gcoins can be transferred or gifted to other Gcoin wallet holders at no cost and in real time. We launched Gcoin in the US in 2019, and we're looking to launch new countries going forward for cross-border transactions and to boost really financial inclusion in emerging markets. And in this regard, we recently announced a partnership with MoneyGram to use their global cash in, cash out facilities for Gcoin to be purchased and sold with cash. And then, furthermore, with tokenization, you can now purchase fractions of gold in increments of 0.01 grams, so that it can be spent like cash with debit cards, on day-to-day purchases. So we have a Gcoin retail wallet for retail investors. We have an enterprise wallet with multi-tier signatory capabilities for treasury management and cross-border transactions, like I mentioned. And we're introducing Gcoin debit cards for spending functionality. So just a brief overview on Gcoin. But just to summarize the solution and what we're trying to do with the gold sector, in essence, we've created an ecosystem of solutions to help solve the gold supply chain trust burden and bring gold into the digital age. And we truly believe that all participants on the responsible gold blockchain can benefit from being part of the ecosystem. So from miners in raising their ESG profiles, attracting capital and mainstream refiners reducing their compliance costs with irrefutable provenance and chain of custody assurances, and being able to benefit from the what we hope are going to be premiums on the provenance that responsible gold will attract. Transporters can also manage their security issues or security risks in real time. Vaulters are able to spot counterfeit bars with gold ID. And the end consumer, like jewelers or wealth managers, who have responsible sourcing mandates, can purchase responsible gold quite comfortably. And as well as the individual retailers who can now have better access to the gold market due to the sort of fractionalization of it, and can save, send, and spend gold. So, that's it essentially in a nutshell, a high-level overview.
That is fantastic, Nirali. Really, I get shivers. Such an exciting project, and really, from the beginning all the way to a credit card, I really didn't expect that. So that's just absolutely amazing. The way I see it with your Gcoin that is linked to actual physical gold, I mean, how is that not a gold standard? How is it not a new gold standard?
That's exactly right. I'm glad you said that, because you've literally hit the nail on the head. I mean, what we're trying to do is create a responsible gold standard, right? So in terms of how gold will sort of be perceived going forward, like I said, it's got the ESG components through the whole supply chain tracking plus the ESG tracking, and it's digitized. So yeah, we're looking at developing a new, or introducing a new gold standard to the market.
That's really, really fascinating, very exciting. I'm sure a lot of people will have lots of questions, but I get a chance to ask my questions first.